Hey guys, it's Chase here on Gemmy Master Animatronics, and today what I have for you is, I think, a pretty cool review. This is the Gemmy 2012 11-foot tall prototype Lightsync tree. This is an item that I got from my trip to Gemmy Industries. I actually got this from the original creator of this item. It's been in his collection ever since it was made, I guess, and he was never able to use this outside, so he was looking to sell it. And of course I, bought it for a few different reasons, but what we have in front of me is the first ever prototype of any Lightsync character that was ever made. This was the, I say that this was the first inflatable one. I don't know, we were talking to him, and we weren't sure if this came before the Jivin' Jacks or like any of the other prototypes. But we do know that this was prototyped in 2012, whereas a few of the Jivin' Jacks were prototyped in 2013. And so this item in front of us could be this could have come before all of the Gemmy Lightsync characters, but we do know for sure that this was the first ever prototype of any inflatable Lightsync character. This was the first ever one that he had designed, and he was actually talking to us, and he said that this one ended up turning out the best, and he prefers this over any of the tabletop ones or any of the other inflatable ones that were made because it was done correctly. Now, I don't know if he feels the same way about the production ones, but when he was showing us this item, he was saying that this was the best looking example that they had ever made, and so that to me is very cool. Now, right off the bat, obviously, well, not obviously, but a lot of you would know that this was a production item. This one was produced. I don't have the production item, but I do have this prototype, and a lot of you would know that this was a produced item, and it was first sold at Canadian Tire, and then it was resold back in 2019. It was remade, and I actually did have the 2019 model, but this tree was produced, and so a lot of you might be saying, well, what exactly is pre-production on this? Now, as much as I would like to say that every single light bulb cap and everything that's holding these lights together is complete resin or something of that nature, it's not. And I have checked because I was kind of curious if they were, but it's not. But I guess one of the first things you might notice is that there are absolutely no tether attachments on this. On the production model, there would be a tether attachment right here and then one on the other side. What's also interesting about this is that there's no zipper in the back, because on the produced one, there is a zipper that allows you to go into the back to let some air out when you are deflating the item. Now, there is a zipper on this item. It's all the way down to the fan, but there is none in the back. So if those two weren't a giveaway on that this thing is a prototype, let me show you one more thing. And the box aside, obviously, being a prototype box, I've got one more thing that might convince you guys that this is the prototype of the Lightsync tree. I'm gonna squeeze by here. Let's check out the sound box area. Oh, focus. Yeah, that's not production. As you can see here, we have the item number. I can't exactly make out what it is, but it says it on the box. Yeah, 86146 is the item number. And it says it on the top too, and it says talking tree, which is very interesting because the tree doesn't actually talk, it sings, for those of you that don't know. And along the back here we can see all the circuits. Now, there is a pretty big chip on the back right there. Now, it's not an EEPROM or anything. This is 2012. Now, Gemmy was still doing EEPROM items, but this one happens to not have an EEPROM, which is good and bad. I would love for it to have an EEPROM. That would be super cool. But at the same time, because this has a separate chip instead of an well, I guess they're both separate chips, but I would just call this a separate chip. Because it has a separate chip as opposed to an EEPROM, it's definitely going to last longer than if it had an EEPROM reader, because those are typically prone for going out. As you can see, all the wires here are zip tied together, and it goes all the way into the lights in here, and they're all shrink wrapped together, and it's kind of it's not really a mess in there. It's actually done pretty well. But I don't know why. Actually, no, I'm sorry, I do know why. They gave this a regular soundbox casing, but obviously the circuit board itself was not able to fit inside the soundbox, and that's because this was 2012, and so that was before Gemmy had started making the large white soundboxes, which the production model of this would have had. So they had to give it this casing for the time being until they actually made a mold for the white soundbox that can actually fit all of this inside of it. And it also doesn't help that there's a big chip on the end. So if it wasn't the actual circuit board that wasn't able to fit in there, it definitely doesn't help that the chip on this is quite large. So yeah, that's your. If that doesn't show that it's a prototype, then I don't know what does. So I will back up here and kind of show the different facial expressions that it runs through. Now this thing has 3 different modes. It's got light show without sound, which is what it's on right now. It's got light show with sound, and then it's got off. So it's got 3 functions on it, and they actually work quite well. And it's the same exact functions that were used on the production model. Now, I did look at the programming that was used on this in comparison to a production one, and it's the exact same, which is interesting. And I didn't notice any glitches or anything going on with this, so it seems to be, it seems like it's going to run perfectly right now and from years and years to come, hopefully. So that's really good. But I do find it interesting that nothing was changed, that, they were, when they had made this, they were kind of like, well, yeah, this is exactly how we want it done, so put it on the production ones and it'll be good. But as you can see, he's got a couple different facial expressions. He's got blinking, as you just saw. He's got eye turn, so he has middle eyes, left and right eyes. And actually his eyes are made up of 4 different LEDs. And so there are a good, probably like 30 or 40 LEDs in this thing, which is a lot. I mean, like I said, the eyes themselves, I'm trying to think what that would be. I'm not trying to do math in my head right now, but each eye, I believe, has, I think, 12, so 24. Yeah, 24 LEDs just for the eyes, which, and that's not even counting the ring around the eyes, and I'm not even going to bother counting that. But I'm sure what all of you are wanting to see is the activation. So I will go ahead and do that, but before I do activate it, I also wanted to say one other special thing about this. For those of you that have seen the Gemmy video before all their old videos were taken down, you might have seen the tree that Gemmy made, or the video that Gemmy made on this tree for their channel to kind of advertise it. This is that exact tree in the video, which is incredible. This was in front of the this was on the snow base of the Gemmy house where all the videos were shot, the set, and that just makes this thing an incredible piece of history in my opinion. And it's unbelievable that this thing is in front of me right now, because for this thing to have been the only Gemmy Lightsync character that was actually recorded in front of that house, for this to be also the first ever prototype Lightsync character, and just everything else is just amazing. So without further ado, I will go ahead and turn it on for you guys, and I must warn you, the sound quality is absolutely horrible on this. Let's go ahead and activate it. Oh, wrong way. Now, as you heard, it plays the Gemmy Trio Band audio, which I love the audio from that, so I don't have a problem with that at all. For those of you that don't know, the original production model of this tree was made in 2013, if I didn't already say that, and this prototype right here was made in 2012, and we know this because the fan itself on it says 2012, and it just wouldn't make sense for it to then 2013, because Gemmy is typically working on all of these projects for, you know, a later year, usually a year in advance. So that's what makes the most sense to me. So this, like I said, this could have also come before the Jiving Jacks, because the Jiving Jacks were made in 2013 also. So we don't know if this was before them or the Jiving Jacks were before this. It's all the same concept, and it was made by the same guy. He doesn't remember, but I'm going to go ahead and assume that this was made before the Jiving Jacks, because he makes more. I was saying that it would make sense that this one came before the Jiving Jacks, because he designs more inflatables than he does the animatronics, so that's just what makes the most sense to me. And I'm going to go ahead and turn off the lights so you guys can see it a lot better. And I apologize it's not outside right now. There's never a good time to shoot this thing outside, because it has to be dark enough for you to see the face, but then when it gets dark enough for you to see the face, you can't see the entire body because there's no other lights that illuminate it. So you really have to record this inside, or else you're not really gonna be able to see the rest of it. It's either one or the other. You either get to see the tree itself, or you get to see the face. Now, I obviously picked the face over the tree, but you'd still want to see the rest of it, because I couldn't really show the example of there being no tether attachments on the side or zipper on the back. Now, one other thing I can point out about this thing, and hopefully the song won't interrupt me, the blue light... God, it kind of scared me. Turn the lights back on. What I will say is the sound quality actually might be fantastic on this thing, and that they just used a very low watt speaker on this, because I know that on the production one it uses a 5-watt speaker, but this one might have a 2 or 3 watt, which is why it might sound kind of crappy, because as I was told, if you use a lower watt speaker than what it's supposed to have, then it can sound kind of muffled and kind of crappy. So that could be the issue, and I won't ever change it. I want to keep it as original as possible, but that's just my thought. Now, I did want to show that the blue ornaments on this, and it's only the blue, fortunately. The Texas heat did a number on this thing, but fortunately it didn't, you know, take over anything else. The Texas heat had started to wear out the blue bulbs on this, so if I show, you can pretty much see right through them. It's melting, which means that the coating hasn't... go ahead and shut this off so it doesn't keep interrupting me. And that was the last song anyways, so it's not like we're skipping over anything. I always like to make sure the board's not getting hot because you never know with these things. I'll just put it on in the lights without sound mode. So I was showing the ornaments on here, so as you can see, it's practically see-through. I mean, the coating isn't like completely gone yet. But it's melting, and what that means is that the coating is become very sticky and runny, and so it will gradually start coming off more and more and more. And really, to finish the process, you just got to take water and just you can wipe the entire coating off. Whereas something like the green or the white or the the yellow or the red is totally fine on it. And actually, yeah, I can show that it's totally fine. You can't even see it through it at all. So fortunately, it's just the blue. I mean, if it was something like the yellow, or yeah, the yellow, the green, or the white, that would be horrible. If it was the green, I mean, this thing wouldn't even be standing right now because the entire thing is green. So glad it's only that. But again, it's all the blue. It's this one right here, this one right here. There's probably one on the other side where it's like that. But if there was gonna be something worn out on it, I'm glad that it was the blue, or it could have been the red. No, I'm glad it wasn't the red neither because it's. The red is in the front, so you might see through it in the front. And honestly, I'm just not noticing this. I don't know if the production one has the two bulbs in the front, the ornaments. I don't think it does. I think the entire front is completely clear of anything but the lights. So this one actually might have the two bulbs in the front, whereas the production one does not. And I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I have to go back and look. But I just don't remember there being two in the front now that I'm looking at it. There was definitely ones up there, and you can see that there is a star up there, and that's what makes it 11 feet tall. But like I said, I can't inflate this outside, or else you guys wouldn't be able to see anything. So I will get one more shot of the sound box because, again, it's just such an interesting part of this thing. Hopefully you guys are able to see it pretty well. You can kind of see a little bit of the circuit board. You can see G and D, which is ground. So that's where it'd be getting, it's ground, and then wherever VCC is, it's be getting its 12 volts. This thing does take 12 volts. And I will kind of, get up close to it and play the audio so you guys can kind of hear just how bad it is. Because I was showing it from afar, but up close you can really hear how bad it is, and you can also kind of hear like how much bass is in it. And I'll play Jolly Old St. Nicholas because the Jingle Bells isn't that great.
Before Christmas. Jolly old St. Nicholas, lead your elders way. Don't you tell a single soul what I'm gonna say. Christmas Eve is coming soon. Now you dear old man.
See, it takes 12 volts.
Whisper what you'll bring to me. Tell me if you can. Well, the clock is striking 12.
Well, as always, if I'm missing anything, I will put it in the description, but I don't think I'm missing anything. I mean, if there's anything that I'm not thinking of, it's really just anything that the creator would have said about this item. But again, like he said, this was his favorite Lightsync one that he did, because it just turned out the best. And I do agree. He was saying that because the lights are pressed right up against the face, there's no diffusion or anything with the lights. It's not like it's not like reflective or anything, so you can actually see the face very well. Whereas on the Jive and Jacks, it's kind of blurred. And so if you see with the Jive and Jacks, there's a lot of prototypes where, or maybe not a lot, but there's a few where the face is actually, I'll show for an example. Like on this one, it's actually, I'm not thinking of the name right now, but there's like extenders right here, which push the face more front, so it's actually pushed right up against the plastic. And so that's, with this, the lights are directly sewn right up against the green. So, but that's basically it. Really hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys again next time.